Hey friends, welcome to 1 Minute with Monet. Balance doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen one intentional minute at a time. This podcast gives you the tools to make it happen. I'm your host, Monet, your favorite concierge and founder of Time Managed LLC. Join me each week for practical tips and real examples to help you manage your lifestyle with ease. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of 1 Minute with Monet. Today I have the esteemed pleasure of interviewing Erica Tuggle of Livin. Now, Living is changing the game for busy families. A lot of us dread cooking. We have no idea what's for dinner, but we always get asked the question, especially as moms. But you are here to tell us how a little bit of luxury can come into our lives to make our lives a little simpler. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
So tell us about your business and how you got started.
Yeah. So Livin is exactly what you said. We are here to eliminate the burden of dinner. Because every night we all try to figure out what are we going to eat, who's going to eat what, how are we going to make it happen in like the little time that we have. And at least personally, I found that our family was relying on solutions that I didn't love. Whether it was too much takeout and the guilt that comes with that, or I was in the kitchen cooking and not spending time with my kids or doing other things I wanted to do. Or, we were trying to just like figure it out on a dime, like none of it worked for us. And a lot of what we sacrificed was either time or health or that sort of thing. So Live In is essentially a platform that connects you with vetted chefs. So we vet local chefs who are so excited about cooking for families, and they go into the homes of the families that are members of Live In. They bring the fresh groceries and those whole ingredients. They cook, they clean, they store because they're making multiple meals for the week. So that, they come in once and they kind of get you set. And they do all of that for honestly what most people are paying for delivery. And so it becomes a really accessible way to just get a little bit of help when you need it so that you can still eat well, but you don't have to be the one doing it, which was my goal. Can't be the one doing this anymore.
Exactly. So even with some of the other brands here who are trying also to make cooking easy or dinner time easy,
Yes.
you still have to do something and you still have to think.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like your business is taking that thinking component out of brilliant idea.
Thank you.
I wish I would have thought about it. But I was so excited to find out about your brand because it is something that we as a family struggle with. Busy mom, busy kids, this crazy schedules. And I actually enjoy cooking. I find that on my busiest days, when I just have to say I'm not doing another minute of work, I'll get up and cook, and immediately my stress level is down. That does not happen every day, unfortunately. Sometimes my hesitation with outsourcing cooking is because I do enjoy it and I want my family to enjoy my cooking. How did you come up with and what made you take that first step?
It's such a good point because I actually love cooking too. It's like I use it the same way. Like it's a de-stressor for me. We've got a holiday coming up and everybody's like, do you want help? Do you want help? I'm like, no, I'm so excited. Like I'm being in the kitchen doing my thing. But it also can become a stressor. And that's what I was realizing in kind of my life. And so the opportunity came when I was working at Coke. So in Atlanta, loved it actually, had awesome work with things that I was working on Coke and food stuff and pairings and restaurant partnerships, all those sort of things. And was constantly talking to consumers who were having the same issue that I was. Like they wanted to eat well. They didn't have the time to do it themselves. They were trying to figure out how to eat conveniently. And so that was really when I had the challenge, and I had my two kids were very young at that time. My daughter was an infant when I started really thinking about, all right, let's try this. My son was 2.5. And so I was really like in the crux of, work was heavy, home was heavy. But then over the years, I realized that home doesn't get easier. Work doesn't get easier as they grow up, right? We just get busier. So this idea came to me from that stress, but then also from talking to other moms who maybe they had a babysitter that was cooking for them or a nanny. Some of them had neighbors that, would cook in the neighborhood. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. How do you find these people? Like, how do you make this happen? And it was really hard to find them. And so Living kind of takes that work away. Like we find the people, we vet the people. And then we also supplement with like recipes and meals that meet your personalized needs so that you can very easily pick a menu, pick a chef, pick a date, and it can be done.
Very simple.
Yeah, it's super simple.
Now, does the chef help you come up with meals, or do they give you the ideas and you choose from their set menu?
Yeah, they can. So some of the customers like to work directly with their chef on like, understanding what they like to eat and working on meal plans in that way. What is the typical way that people use Livin is they use our menu. And so Livin, every month we have a new menu of items. And we focus on, health categories like anti-inflammatory or metabolic health, Mediterranean people love. We also focus on like kid-friendly stuff. So we're about to do some things around like hidden veggies and that sort of thing. And so that's the menu that you can expect. And what we're doing now is we're learning about you when you come to Linen. So every time you order or you like something, we learn more and more about what you like, and we're able to customize the solutions and the meals really that are presented to you.
How do you think your corporate background has played a part in the development of your business and your brand?
I think it's been positive and negative sides. Being an entrepreneur is just so different from kind of the structure and the resources that I was used to. And so that's why I say that's kind of been a double-edged sword. But in terms of how it's benefited me, I do think as a founder, you do have to have a really clear vision and strategy. Because there are so many distractions and fires and things that are like grabbing at your attention. And if you're not focused on the right thing, you lose time and you lose money, which are like the two most precious resources that a startup or company has. And so, in addition to people. And so that is like, has been probably one of the greatest benefits I had from my corporate career is just kind of the structure around how to think about a business problem, how to evaluate a business problem, and how to attack it. I would also say, like, I've met some amazing people in my career. And so working in corporate, those relationships are still with me. And so I've been able to tap into incredible people who have supported me along the way and made introductions or given me ideas and thoughts. So that's been really valuable too. So it's been a few things, but it's definitely, I think, played a positive role more so than anything else.
That's really I think about corporate and the collaboration that comes
Mm.
with it, larger budgets than you have as a small business owner. And so how do you get over some of those challenges that might come with having a big vision,
Yeah.
but the smaller budgets, and it might just be a smaller team as well.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. And especially initially, like it's you, maybe a couple other people, definitely probably not people full time. Right. So you're wearing all the hats. That was biggest adjustment for me. I was very
Mhm.
used to having, agency partners who did a lot of, the work and having the cross-functional team and, kind of just orchestrating and, obviously leading, but it's very different than doing. And so I had to kind of reset in terms of, how I managed my time. That was probably one of the biggest things. I was so used to being meeting bound and again, having multiple people who could help get things done.
Mhm.
So that was really important. And then also how I prioritized, I think changed too. Like I started, reading all the books and trying to figure out like how do I get more done and how do I be focused on what needs to get done.
Yeah.
Exactly. My husband got me this great like productivity notebook that helped me like prioritize each day. And I needed that because it was very different.
Yeah.
And the resources from a dollar's perspective is of course night and day. And so you think differently, you get really scrappy. And sometimes, when you waste money or when something doesn't work out, it really hurts. But it is really very much about like, how can I do this differently?
Mhm.
Honestly, now I think I do a lot. Yeah, it's
I'm
helped us a
sure.
lot.
Do you have favorite AI tools?
Oh, that's a great question. I'll tell a couple, like Claude in general. Like I love Claude. I think it's phenomenal. We've started like, creating agents through Claude and having it do some, tasks for us, which have been hugely helpful. The other one I would mention is NotebookLM from Google, which I love too. You know what I love? So, because I like to, read and podcasts and stuff like this, but I love that I can give it a very specific topic and I can learn on a very specific topic. And so, like, we were working on growth strategies, and I was like, I just want to know about like these three companies and like how they attacked growth and what their challenges were and what they did differently and what was their strategy. And so that's what I focused my, notebook element, my notebook on. And then, listening to a podcast in the car or at the gym based on that research that NotebookLM had done. That's now how I'm learning, which is really interesting. So I love that tool. I think it's so easy and it's just with an on-the-go lifestyle and trying to expand your brain and that sort of thing on specific things, it's been perfect for me.
Right. And I love that you can always ask a question. So once you've needed the resources, you may not have thought about one other topic
Yeah.
while you were initially developing the notebook. You can always go back and ask it more questions. So
Yeah.
it's always there. It's like a continuous resource.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. I mean, we've done everything from like competitive analysis through it. It's powerful.
Your knowledge and expertise must be so valuable to your to your business. I also have an MBA, and I kind of teeter on the line of like how much do I push from like a true corporate, an MBA focus, which I
Mhm.
do think is valuable. I
Yeah.
think our educations are so important,
Yeah.
and they've boded well for us in the corporate space. But then trying to figure out where should I stop and just, think as
Mhm.
just a small business owner,
Mhm.
like a scrappy mom and pop shop that I am. But I think it's definitely valuable to have some of those skills in your pocket.
Yeah, it's such a good point because Livin is inherently very local. Chefs, we work with households. And so that was another big leap for me because I was used to national marketing and like growth strategies, which is
Mhm.
very different from when you mentioned like mom and pop. Like that's who we started to like think about, okay, what are they doing that we should maybe be doing in the early stages? Because it's very, very different. And I had no exposure to really like local marketing. So yeah, so definitely a lot of growth there.
Did you have a clean break between corporate and starting your business? Was there any overlap?
I did. I don't recommend I always tell people like I don't recommend it. But I
Okay.
did actually. So I had the blessing of Coca-Cola was doing voluntary separation agreements. And so everybody kind of got their package and got to make a decision if they wanted to stay or go.
Okay.
And I was actually very close to staying. And then my husband was like, hey, you've been talking about this thing. This feels like a gift. Like
Mm.
maybe you just take it and try. 'Cause you always wonder, right? And so I did, which I'm so grateful that I did. So I took a clean break and left corporate America, had the opportunity to, do some things at home. We were moving and whatnot. So I was able to be a little bit more present at home. And then I started doing my research and interviews with potential customers and trying to figure out where to start in the market, that sort of thing. I did all of that. And then ultimately cooking myself to try to figure out the model. And that was like my transition into like, okay, like what is this going to look like? What can this be? And then incorporating and really going for it. But I always tell people like there's so much that like beginning phase of learning and just trying to
Mhm.
figure out where to start. I think is it's not as it's demanding, but it's not as demanding as once you actually get going, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like there is the opportunity to like have your income and like, do the research and start to try to figure it out before making that jump.
Well, you're blessed to have it.
Yeah,
That's someone to push you a little bit.
yeah,
'Cause if
exactly.
you probably didn't have one or the other, you may have tried to, but
Yeah.
you've been fine also.
Yeah, I think, I've always been a really hard worker. And so I gave 110% of myself to my job in corporate America and always had. And I'm doing the same with the business. And so I didn't see the opportunity for me to do both,
Yeah.
which was part of why I hadn't done yet. Because I had actually had this idea when I had my son. So that was like 2.5 years or 3 years before I actually, went after it. And so you're right. The circumstances kind of had to be right for me personally. But I do always say if you can swing it, like I think it's a great idea to try to just start because you don't know. You don't know like if there's a there, right? Or if, maybe you need to do a little bit more work before you get going. So it's worth it, I think, to do a little bit of overlap.
Yeah. Yes. A lot of my clients as a concierge, they have the problem of cooking. Yeah. Cooking, meal planning, meal prep, that's always top of their to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always been so hard to find someone who does it. And especially when I have one family who was of African descent and they want African food,
Yeah.
like Nigerian food,
Yeah.
Ghanaian food. And so as a business owner in this line of business, it's hard sometimes. This has been the hardest resource
Yeah.
to find.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to have found, especially for the Atlanta area. So
Yes,
you're in
exactly.
Atlanta and LA.
Yeah.
How did you choose both cities?
Yes. Well, Atlanta, quite honestly, is because I was here. I mean, it's a great market, to be honest. Like, we did look at the market and some of the signals here in terms of some of the income levels in certain neighborhoods and family, density, that sort of thing, is for it here. What I really wanted though was to be able to touch and feel and just understand what was happening with the business on the ground as well as the software, et cetera. So it was important for me to have Livin here in Atlanta. Atlanta's been incredible in terms of the learning, helping us learn, helping us build all of that. LA was actually, everybody's like, what? Felt out of left field. But it's an incredible market for us. Like when we started looking at the data, it really popped for health and wellness culture, chef supply, not only from a quantity perspective, but also from a quality perspective. It's a really rich kind of foodie culture too, which is exciting. We believe in the potential of this brand to really grow organically and also be a lifestyle brand. And LA is a great place to grow a consumer business. And then the other thing, of course, is households, families. It ranks as number 3 in terms of one of the most difficult cities to have a family. And part of that is because of the heavy concentration of dual income families that's required for the cost of living there. Part of that is the commutes and that sort of thing that families deal with. So a lot of signals to us that said, okay, this is a great market for us to help provide some relief to these families and do so again in a very competitively priced way for what you would never expect to have somebody come and cook in your home.
What is that pricing like?
Yeah. So what we do is we focus on making sure that people get more value for more meals, essentially. So you're basically getting the most out of your chef's time. And so it starts at $150 in Atlanta. That's your, kind of base. You're getting a couple meals for a couple people, the smallest plan that you can do. But then we have our families who are doing 12 plates, maybe 16 plates, and they're somewhere around $300 something for a service. And that ends up breaking down to $20 to $30 a plate, which when they look at, what they're doing on Uber Eats, what they're throwing away at the end of the week, it ends up being really competitive. And so we were really excited that we were able to create a model that does that. And we do that through, the chefs that we work with. We support them with tools and resources that take a lot of the load. And so you don't have to pay for that time and that work. And then we also make sure that, our menus are seasonal. So you get benefit of seasonal produce. Some of the things that we do with our chefs around, supporting them, as I mentioned, through tools, but also through learning and education. All those things help to make it a more efficient system than what we might do on our own.
Okay. And so is the chef also doing the grocery shopping?
They are, yeah.
So they're doing everything.
They're doing soup to nuts. So yeah, exactly.
And packing it, put things
Shop cooking more. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Shop cooking and it's all handled.
Let's say, for instance, the 12 plates is that, let's say, so if I have a family of 4, that's 3 meals.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, yeah. And so typically people are doing 3 or 4 meals. They're trying to get most of the week covered. And then naturally, right, you're gonna have nights where you might be out for a work dinner or where the kids are at, sports until late perhaps, or you just want to do pizza on a Friday, that sort of thing. So I think I always tell people Livin's a really nice food in general tends to be a hodgepodge of what works for you in your lifestyle. And it's a really nice thing to kind of inject if you just want a break every now and then, but not, have to sacrifice the quality of the food you're eating.
So what you just talked about has my brain spinning because my son is a student athlete. And although now our family has gone from 5 to 3 because his older sisters are, in college or on their own, I haven't really thought much about outsourcing lately. I think your business can help our family is that for his nutrition, especially during track season, is important. I mean, now he runs all year round. So I might need you all year round. Because there's certain things that I want him to have in his diet.
Yeah.
But when he leaves school, where does he go?
Yeah.
McDonald's. What does he ask for when he's like, I'm hungry? Can you pick up some Zaxby's?
Yeah.
And all of those things are not what an athlete should be eating. So even if it's a couple meals for us, dinner during the week, but then maybe there's 4 or 5 plates through the week before he needs a snack.
Exactly. Yeah.
Recovery meal. Exactly. I think that can be beneficial for us. So I love that this conversation is causing me to even think differently about how we manage our nutrition in our home because it is important. And it's so easy to forget about everything outside of dinner. Even lunch for my husband and I. I've gone without lunch. I didn't eat breakfast today. of those things.
Exactly.
But if I knew I had lunch waiting for me in the fridge, it would be easy for me to take that meal out, heat it up. Maybe it's a salad or something that's already ready. And
Exactly.
I didn't have to meal plan or
Exactly.
prep or shop
Think about
for
it.
any of
It's
the
just
things.
done. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
exactly.
yes.
It's such a good point on the athlete piece and healthy nutrition in the family. We've talked a lot about families with athletes and youth athletes. Because we started, it's a lot of and we still do have a lot of young families. So like they're dealing with the toddlers and they're trying to figure out, they don't want to eat everything. Like how am I like this is creating a lot of extra work. Like how do we make sure they have good nutrition? But to your point, what's been really interesting is that we hear from like our families that have older kids, like the Uber bills are super high. They don't want them eating that crap. It's all of those things.
All the above.
And so to your point, like what's great about Living and what I love about the menu piece for us is that we can help, you feel informed and be informed about like nutrition information about what you're getting and how to make choices or how to guide your chef on choices. We have some customers right now who are doing like boosts and they want an extra energy boost or an extra protein boost and there are ingredients that can help with that. And so it's really like we're working on things like getting our menu smarter, which I love because it helps families like yours do that so easy. Like how to manage nutrition when you think about recovery, like here you go. This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, who brain behind your menu? Like, who does that every month?
Question. So we lean into AI, we lean into our customer data as well, and we lean into our chef network. And actually our customers too beyond data. So our customers also submit recipes and they can do that, anytime they have a service, they're welcome to. And what we'll do is we'll take that and we'll also present that on our platform and in our menu to see if that, gets any traction. And usually they do pretty well. And so it's a combination of getting, information and ideas from different places. And then, basically letting the market, if you will, or our platform and members decide what they really like. But we get a lot of feedback on menu. It's helpful. We get a lot of it, everybody eats differently. And it is, if you don't see anything you like, to your point, you don't have to think about it. So if you have to think about, all right, let me come up with a new idea for dinner so that they can make it for me, we're not fully solving the problem that we're setting out to solve. We want to take that burden off of you.
Is there an extra charge if I wanted to customize the menu? So
Great question.
if I know I can probably tell you my preferences or if we have allergies or things.
Yeah.
But if I said, you know what, this week I only want spaghetti and maybe some fish or what have you, is there an extra charge for that customization?
There is not. So one of the unique features of Livin is that it is really personalized to you. And so the only time you get into extra charges are around premium ingredients. So if you're, sometimes people do want to have a lobster, on a Tuesday. It's like, okay, let me play. Like we're all about looking well. So you can, but it's going to cost a little extra. Same with like filet and that sort of thing. Mahi. So those are like premium ingredients on our platform. But if you're just saying, hey, you know what, we don't like broccoli, so can you switch that broccoli out with, green beans, or instead of salmon, I'm going to have chicken with that? Totally fine. And that's really the flexibility of the platform, I think, is what people really like because you can personalize every meal to what you and your family need. Yeah.
Now, what do your chefs say? Do they love this job? It sounds like it is a dream.
That honestly makes me so happy because, when I was working at Coke, we were working a lot with more celebrity chefs who had made it, right? And they were doing marketing for us and helping us drive awareness of Coke and food at that time. But I wasn't working a lot with, chefs who were like up and coming or, earlier in their career, or maybe had been in their career for 20 something years, like a lot of our chefs, but had been working in restaurants, kind of behind closed doors, right? That whole time. And so I got really excited when I started to learn more about their stories and hear more about what they were trying to do in their careers. Because what I realized was Livin is a platform just as much for helping our customers live well as it is for helping our chefs live well. And so they love the flexibility. That's the number one thing we hear. It is like a gig platform for them, while many of them have subscription customers or customers who are on membership with them and so have services over and over again. It still gives them flexibility to make that work within whatever their schedule is. We have some chefs if I'm thinking about who started, she's been with us for a long time and has consulted with us as well. She's a mom and she doesn't, her son is done with everything at 3. And so she takes all of her services in the morning, but after 3, she doesn't take services, and she has that flexibility and it can work for her. And I love that. They also have the ability to just try different things. A lot of time in a restaurant, you might be on, one part of the line or doing one specific job. So you get to try a lot of different recipes, different cuisine types. And they do very well with that. And because they have the base skills of cooking, and then we give them the guidance, the recipes, et cetera, and everything else. And the last thing we hear, which I also love, is that the environment is just so inviting and welcoming and nice. You hear a lot of horror stories about what it can be to work in a restaurant kitchen. Yeah, Hell's Kitchen. You've seen the bear, right? Like, recent news stories too, a lot of challenges that some chefs do, come across. And so you're in a home with a family, they're so happy for you to be there, right? They're like, you're saving us. Maybe you have a dog that you have to, handle, figure out how to keep them out of the kitchen. But other than that, it's a very nice kind of experience for them.
That is so nice. And so with it being more of a kind of a gig platform or a gig job for them, the people who are on the platform, you don't just accept everybody.
We don't,
Okay.
no. And that's really important to us. So we first start with the resume. So it's like applying to any other job for the chefs. We do a review of resumes looking for, your experience, length of experience, but also quality of experience, meaning the types of restaurants or other places you've worked at. From a culinary perspective, we do interviews. So we do screeners, but then we also do a more in-depth and virtual kitchen session with you. As a chef applying, we do the background check as well. And we also make sure that all the chefs keep their food safety certification. So that's safe food handling, making sure that they know, how to make sure that what they're preparing is safe to eat, and also taking care of the environment, meaning the kitchen, that they're cooking in, and making sure things are clean, that sort of thing.
And can I choose a shift that I might love? Like if someone did a really great job,
Yes.
I can continue to go back and have that person be my preferred chef.
Yes, you can. So that's exactly what we call it, preferred chef. So I always tell people, pick 2 at least chefs that you love, because, someone's going to go on vacation. Someone's going to maybe be sick one day. And we do want our members to, be able to have consistency in their services. So I always say pick 2, but yes, you can. You can say, hey, I really love this chef. And our best customers who have been with us for the longest time, that's exactly what they do. They have the same chef or the same couple of chefs who come by. They then know your kitchen. They know your family. It starts to become a really nice relationship too.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Well, sign me up.
I know.
I appreciate that. Do you have any stories about, family success stories or that connection between the chef and the family?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot, actually. So we have one. They just absolutely. We did actually chef appreciation social posts about a year ago, and so a lot of our customers submitted their videos and whatnot, and it's just awesome to see the kids in the kitchen with the chef getting exposed. And this I love too. We don't talk about it a lot, but the idea of making sure that your kids are exposed to fresh food in the home and cooking in the home and understanding where their food is coming from versus ordering or picking it up on the way home or whatever it might be. It's really important for our appreciation and also our understanding as we continue, to grow up and then think about how we want to eat. So anyway, so those pictures and those stories of, chefs in the kitchen with the kids, just showing them how to do a pretty easy thing, or letting them mix something up on the side. I love that.
Life skills.
Exactly. All right. Some younger kids these days are using the oven for storage. And I'm like, oh no, we're gonna change that around.
That's right. So funny. What has been the challenge with building this business? It's high touch, but then it's also really convenient.
Yeah. The biggest challenge of building this business, some of it is honestly that people don't they don't know that this is possible, or they don't believe that it's possible.
As far as
So this idea, exactly. So this idea of having someone come and cook for you, I can do that too, is really what we're about. And so it's there is always an automatic assumption that if it's a personal chef, I must be a billionaire. This is my win the lottery dream, not my we both work and, we do okay kind of, lifestyle.
Yeah.
But it can be. And that's what was eye-opening to me when I was first thinking about the model by talking to people that I was working with. I was like, okay, rates that you're paying people are not too different than what you pay a babysitter. And, same ingredients and that sort of thing that you would buy if you were buying groceries.
Mhm.
So there is a way for our family to do this, which means there's a way for a lot of other families to do it too. So that's the biggest, that's been that misconception has been a hurdle. And then, everybody who does a marketplace, which is essentially what we are at our core, we have two sides of the market that we're supporting. So we have the chefs and we have the customers, right? The members. That is hard. It's really hard to predict demand and make sure that you have enough chefs on the platform, but then also to make sure you don't have too many chefs on the platform, because if they're not working, they're not going to stay, and then you're going to have to do all that work again. And then, it just kind of bounces back and forth. And then the other thing I tell people is that you have to do basically everything twice. Right? So if we're building an onboard, it's like educating you and getting you into thinking, considering, and hopefully then converting into a member and making that purchase. We have to do the same thing on the chef side. We have to market to them to get them to come to us. We have to help them consider us, learn about us, sign up, go through the onboarding process.
Yes.
So it's hard because of those things as well. We do everything twice, and it's hard to get that balance right.
And also maintaining a level of consistency
Yeah.
across your chefs, right? So not training and probably the SOPs that you have in place, but how do you ensure that they are following the standards that you want them to?
Yeah, we think about a lot about this too, because our chefs are actually they're contractors, and so they're not employees, so they get to run the job how they want to run it. They pick up the job from us, and then they take it and run with it. But what that means for us is that we want to have a culture and screening process that really enables high quality experience, because each chef is going to be different. And that's actually the beauty of the platform. Like, you've got a lot of different chefs that you just want something different one week, you can try a different chef. If you want to stick with the same thing, you can do that too. That diversity is beautiful and wonderful on our platform. What is not or shouldn't be different is the quality, if that makes sense. So, like, that's the thing that we strive to be for consistency on. And then we hope that the chefs will bring their individual kind of expertise, but also, little pizzazz to everything that they do.
Yeah. So the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
The creativity.
Yes.
There's some structure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What's next for Livin expansion?
Question. So we're focused a lot right now on product development. For us means the software. So how do we build tools and resources that make Livin easier to use? Make sure that our platform is continuously getting smarter about you. So we're, more helping you to, again, let this go. So we're hopefully doing more of the thinking for you and not just, connecting you with someone who can do the cooking. And so that's the biggest focus right now. So we have quite a roadmap on the software side of new features that we're pushing through. Everything from enhancing our menu, next thing that rolls out, to thinking about the tools that the chefs have to make sure, again, those quality standards. It's just easier for them to do the job. The other thing that you'll see from us is continued and hopefully bigger partnerships. So we've recently started working with Airbnb, which we're super excited about, being a service available to, people who are traveling. And staying in an Airbnb is an awesome way to travel and stay in a home, right? That you have more space and you have all the amenities that you want, but you don't want to be the one cooking and cleaning. And that's usually what happens to me when my family stays in an Airbnb. Somehow I'm cooking and cleaning. And so we're excited about, again, providing that relief in that situation as well. But we want to do more of that. And so we're very actively focused and working on that too.
And do you have any plans to expand to other cities?
Yes. So you will see us doing that as well. We'll be essentially looking at cities that mimic what we're seeing in LA in terms of chef quality and chef availability. We provide an outlet for markets where restaurants are closing and chefs are looking for opportunity. Atlanta and LA unfortunately share that similarity. And so we're looking to provide that relief in markets as well. So we're looking at markets that fit that criteria, as well as the health and wellness piece, because that is really the personalization that you can do on Livin to support the way you want to eat and your family wants and needs to eat is really critical. And so, yeah, you'll see us in a few new places.
seeing you grow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any last words or takeaways of what you want our audience to understand about what you're providing to the community, what you would love to, how you would love to help their families?
Yeah. The biggest thing is we all carry so much and we do so much in a day that at the end of the day, after you've managed so many meetings, helped so many team members, also, gone to the shuttled to practice or, gone to the dental appointment with whoever in the family, you shouldn't have to manage dinner too, as much as you might love it,
Yeah.
and that's like I said, I had to let it go, and do it occasionally because I do love it. But when it gets down to like the mechanics of food preparation, which I had one member tell me, she was like, I don't like it anymore. It's food preparation. It's not cooking. I was like, that's a really good way to put it. Like, when it gets down to like that level of you're just trying to get it done, and you're going to have to cut some corners, you don't have to.
Mhm.
And so that's what I try to remind people of. Like, you're doing great and you're doing it all. And this doesn't have to be one of those things. And so, yeah, we're here to help and support, as I mentioned, not only our members, but our chefs as well, so that we can help people eat the way they want to eat and hopefully eat better too.
Yeah. Awesome. Tell them how they can find you
Yes.
and sign up to be a member.
Yes, absolutely. So we are at chooselivin, LIVIN.com. And you can also find us on Instagram at choose_livin if you just want to see, some of what's happening and see it inside some of the homes too that we're in. But we are a really great, easy platform for you to get this just handled.
Amazing. I can't wait to get started. I'm
Awesome.
going to, and I'm going to share my experience online because I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Yeah,
Thanks again for
thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Our audience, be well and be balanced. Thank you for joining me this week. Let's continue the conversation on social media at 1 Minute with Monet on all channels. Also, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Until next time, be well and be balanced.